What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another session of Build, Break, and Fix. Yeah, you guessed
Oh
it.
my goodness.
Can you believe it?
I
You
can't. Another
can't.
show. That's amazing. So
It's
excited.
fantastic. Yeah, pumped to pumped to see all your changes, all your hard work that you've been doing on the stream,
Uh,
and how you share everything with us. Really looking forward to it.
all right.
Fantastic. All right, guys. Yeah. So let's do the acknowledgement of the country, and then then basically we will go back to a kind of a background or what we plan to do on this session. So here goes. I begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather today and pay my respects to their elders past, present, and future. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. Fantastic. So, yeah, Tori. So the background is that Tori has been doing some amazing stuff on uh, our project, which is really fascinating. And I think what we're gonna get Tori to do is kind of explain what he did in this session. How about that, Tori?
Sounds great. Is my am I a little laggy?
I don't think you all know.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just gonna switch networks real quick. Okay.
Okay, cool, perfect. Okay, guys, so let's just wait until Mr. Tory, the legendary, comes back, and then we can get started with some fun, knowing what he did, why he did, and how he did it, which is gonna be amazing, because he's actually told me really briefly on what he did, as in why messages, but my schedule has been really as in full on, so I haven't really had a chance to as in read the messages properly at all. But this is what I've been waiting for all day today. All right.
Okay. I think it's better now. All right. Cool.
I can hear a bit of a say grr noise in the background. I
Really?
don't know.
Huh. One second. That better? It's quiet here. Hello?
That should be fine. That should be fine. Yeah, it's still coming, but I think it's bearable.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Um, it's what type of sound is it?
Um, you know how you play a movie and you hear the grr sound, but people are still talking, but the grr sound is in the background, always coming up. That kind of a
Huh.
sound. It's
Uh,
like your headphones aren't plugged in properly, maybe in that way. Same.
Same?
Yeah. Now it's
Alright,
becoming
alright.
a bit louder.
What? That's weird. Alright, I'll come back in. Come back
Okay,
in and see.
sounds good. All right, guys, just hold on really tight. It will be a fun ride, I promise you. Cause yes, some of the stuff that he has done is really amazing. You'll be really surprised. and for some of you might be a steep learning curve, which is always fun, isn't it? So yeah, let's hold on really tight until he comes back and sorts out his headphones. Yeah, my day has been pretty full on, but really productive, so that was always good. I think he's about to come back in probably few minutes. Actually, I'm gonna play a bit of background music. Actually, how about if we change it this time? So, how about this one? Yeah, that's not too bad. Huh. Actually, how about this one? No. And he is
All
back.
right. Better?
That is fantastic now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All
I think
loud
you're
and
right.
clear.
Just like the headphone jack being weird.
All right, I see.
Oh wow. I'm gonna listen to this sound tonight when I go to bed.
Yeah. Which one is that?
This whatever you're playing in the
Yeah.
background, it's making me super sleepy.
Okay, I'm gonna have to change it. Then hang on a minute.
It's cool. It's cool. The audience might like a lullaby too.
How about this one?
Sure. It's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, why not? Yeah, that's cool.
All right.
Thanks.
Perfect.
All right.
Good.
Where do you want to start off then, Zane?
You're the leader. You have done some amazing work. So you take us through
Well,
from point A to.
I don't know if it's
Yeah.
amazing, but thanks.
Trust me, it sounded really fascinating and amazing. As in all. Okay, I'm not gonna spoil it for anyone. So you take charge and you go for it.
Okay, I guess one thing I can start off talking about, which is I was like getting antsy about deployment to S3. So in setting up like a CI/CD pipeline. So I already knew how to do it with Travis CI. If you've heard of Travis, it's like Circle CI and that stuff.
I haven't. No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just for like CI/CD pipelines, and like Travis CI is really easy to set up and use with S3. But I had never done it with GitHub Actions before, and I just didn't want to introduce another tool, another login, etc., that we'd all have to share or whatever. So I thought GitHub Actions would be pretty straightforward, and it wasn't bad at all. So I made this kind of like not documenting every single step that I did, but I kind of copied over the more important aspects of setting this up, and I just kind of made it a repo, which I am perfectly happy to share as well. Which I don't know if you want to follow on my screen, or here's the link. But yeah, I mean, I had a lot of help along the way with, I put some of the resources that I used from down here that helped me a lot.
Pretty
So
cool stuff.
Thanks to all those helpful people who made it like super easy to get this set up. So to set up So basically, the idea of using GitHub Actions is to use GitHub Actions to deploy to our client website to S3, like automatically when we push up some new code. Now you can set rules around that, like when you want that to happen, which you can do in the GitHub Actions YAML file. This is, oh wow, is that not updated? Let me refresh the page here. There we go. So this GitHub Actions YAML file is what you put on GitHub and use their Actions workflow, and then you use a YAML file to basically, very much like CloudFront, not CloudFront, CloudFormation templates, right? You're just using a YAML file to say, do all this, do all that. And so here is this push means whenever you push to a branch of which you choose, then it will run this job. It'll run this GitHub action. And then basically down here, there's the meat of the logic to say what to do. These permissions up here, those come from they tell the AWS CLI to authenticate to AWS with token and blah, blah, blah. All right, and required to check the code from the, so this OIDC is a identity provider that you set up in AWS, and I can talk about that more in depth later. But yeah. It was actually, it sounds difficult, but it was actually really straightforward. And then the rest of this template, it just kind of, basically you're running Node here. That's just what in Ubuntu, like an Ubuntu server. So when you run a GitHub action, if you've never used them before, it just spins up like, a little, just think of it like a little Lambda or a little EC2 or Docker container that just runs this job and then kills itself afterwards, right? It just shuts down.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So the only other than this kind of like boilerplate stuff, which just kind of tells, like, this stuff is all boilerplate, honestly. And then here is like, there's this uses. So this is I believe this is a GitHub action that it was built by AWS. So I'm using this. So this uses refers to use a GitHub action. Like up here, uses action. I think this is from GitHub. It's set up Node. I think this is also from GitHub. So those are kind of like boilerplate things. This one is like, we want to configure AWS credentials. And also, I believe it gives us access to the AWS CLI. So you would be familiar with this code running right there in your terminal, right?
Yeah.
So basically, it's just running that same command in the terminal to copy all the files to the S3 bucket. Once it's authenticated,
isn't it?
What's that?
It's syncing it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's running a sync.
Yeah.
I don't think I need this, actually. This can probably remove, because we don't have any dependencies. But if you did, you could do a whole build process here, where say you had like a Node application or a React application, you need to run like build, or you need to install dependencies. You can do all that before you copy, right? So you could build that production folder and then copy those files over to S3. And then this last line down here, this invalidates the cache on CloudFront. I think the way we have it set up right now, there is no cache, but if there was a cache, it's good to invalidate it first so that basically the new files you've uploaded to S3 will actually show up because you're tearing down the old cache from CloudFront. If there is one, and normally if you're using CloudFront, you would cache some, some static pages or whatever, right?
Yeah,
it's faster that way for the CDN and everything, and for your clients and blah blah. So does that kind of make sense? I mean, it looks like it looks like a lot, but it's just a lot of boilerplate stuff.
No, man, it all does make sense, and just to let you're doing a pretty good and simple job on explaining the complicated stuff really
I didn't
simply.
write this code.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is what I need. Okay,
Yeah.
I need this. Thank you, articles. Thank you for explaining this to me how it works, and modify it the way I need it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so the other things I just didn't touch is like, there's actually a couple different ways to set up the authentication with AWS. So I chose to use what AWS recommended, which is using that identity provider authentication method. The other way you could do it is you could create a user, or you could use your own user keys, and then basically inject the secret and the access key and the token from AWS. But I use the recommended workflow, which is using a role-based identity, and that's cool because it's very limited in its use, right? So with the role, you can only I think the role gives you a new token every time, I believe, or something like that. So it's a bit more secure than just having access keys in there.
Right, I see.
So this is just the Amazon ARN for your role that you would put in here. And then it's good to keep that a secret, even though on AWS's side, you can specifically attach a policy to that role to say, I only want the token to come from this specific repository. But I mean, I think it's just better to hide it, and and make sure your privileges are least privileges and on the AWS side.
Yeah. And that's the best practice as well, which is good.
So the other things are, so you create a role in S3, and actually, let me see, this article actually was extremely helpful. Thank you, Benoit. So here he kind of takes you through the steps, and I'm just doing it here so I don't have to like accidentally reveal something I don't want to on AWS.
Of course not.
But yeah, basically what you would do is you create that that identity, that OpenID Connect identity with GitHub. It's not a option you have already. I think you have like AWS, Google, and some other identity providers, but you just basically are adding GitHub as an identity provider. And that's, oh, my mouse is stuck. That's funny.
So I don't know what's an open ID. What would that be?
Oh, okay. So, they're just, um,
Always Open ID Connect. Okay. Right.
yeah. So it's
Interesting.
like OAuth providers and, what does AWS have out of the box?
Oh, right.
Well,
So
here's
it's
creating
kind of
one.
so it's kind of AWS's authentication system, is it?
Well, they're using OIDC for authenticating, but I think it's just a standard. I don't think it's not part of AWS. It's just a standard.
Okay.
It's this
Right.
Open Connect standard. So
Mm-hmm.
here you can see you can add OpenID Connect provider. So you have to be a provider in order to use this method. So GitHub, like you ever seen login with GitHub on a non GitHub site?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's basically the idea here, I believe. Although
Ah.
I am not an expert on authentication. Okay.
No, no. Now that you say that, it makes sense because I did implement a um the similar thing for some other project, and it was basically doing a login with a third party login. So for example, if you have an app and you want to use your Google credentials to log in, you can do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's pretty much the idea. I think there's a
Right.
big list of OID, OpenID Connect providers, but obviously, like Google is one, GitHub is one. So we're using that. It says establish trust between your AWS account and a identity provider such as Google or Salesforce, right? So although it's not available out of the box, you just set it up just by following these steps. So you start by creating a role, and then hold on, skip the step here. Maybe I didn't. Oh, I guess he just doesn't have a screenshot of it. Hold on. Well, here you go too. Here's how that that role works, which is great because you
Mm-hmm.
get short-lived credentials. So that's the advantage of using a role versus like your access key and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually.
So I guess he doesn't have a screenshot, but basically you go through this workflow. You go to AIM, you go to identity providers, and then you click OpenID Connect, and then you click. I think there's one for add a new identity provider. Yeah, add new
Mm-hmm.
provider. Select OpenID Connect. You basically provide the GitHub token actions URL, and then the audience is simple token service at Amazon for AWS.
Yeah. Yeah.
Simple tokens, something like that. And so
Okay,
then
something like that, yeah.
then you just get the thumbprint, and then you're good to go. You're good to go. And then you create the role. So now you go over to AIM, you create a new role, and then basically you're just adding the identity provider like so. All right. I think you should have this available now in the drop down. You would see GitHub as a identity provider in the drop down if you
Mm-hmm.
correctly. Oh, hey GecDev. And then after that, basically you're just attaching a policy like this one, which is the same one I have, to that role, and the one thing you just need to change is basically your organization. So your name, like Zane at GitHub, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
Mine is Tori Littlefield. So this would say, like, yours is Zane 88 or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Zane
Okay.
88.
Yeah.
Zane 88 for GitHub, your GitHub username, and then the repository. So this specifically only allows the tokens and the permit and the role to be used by that specific repository. So you really have like the a good tight security here. So that's what that so it'll only share the credentials. It'll only provide a token, through this role, and then from there, basically, you set up the YAML in GitHub actions that I already showed. So that's him just going through all that again, and then so that's basically just how you set up GitHub Actions with AWS and past credentials. So then after that, if you want to do, this CD with S3, then of course you add that stuff I went over in the YAML for the GitHub Actions. So the policy, sorry, I forgot. The policy I attached to that role, this is the policy. So I don't know, probably there's things in here it doesn't even need, honestly. But like you can see one of them is CloudFront invalidation, because we're going to invalidate CloudFront cache. And some of this other stuff probably we don't need, but we definitely need to put objects in our S3 bucket, right? Because we're syncing it with the AWS CLI through that GitHub action. Some of this other stuff, maybe not. And then the resource is, your bucket name. So ours is Scrambler front end. And then I was like stuck on this for like a good 20 minutes. Why? And then, so you need both of these, like this little
forward
star.
slash. Oh,
Star.
okay.
Because these are actually exactly the same up until this point. So honestly, the resources, I don't know enough about these policies, how they're written, how they work, but that is a difference. And then the other thing you need is this is for CloudFront. So this is to be able to invalidate the cache on the CloudFront distribution with that specific role you created, right?
Yeah.
Or your own, whatever. Then the last thing is to just attach the policy to the S3 bucket. So I updated the S3 bucket. Basically, the only thing I added was this additional statement here. So this we already had. I attached this, and then this allows us to, the principal is the role that we created for that GitHub action. So from the previous steps, the role, like we're just putting in our ARN in here.
Yeah.
And then the action is list bucket. I guess we needed that. And then the resource is the S3 bucket. And that's it. And this works.
Wow.
and the only problem is it probably needs some tweaking because it's pretty slow. So like because there's like jQuery, because there's all these like image files and SVGs and stuff, all this stuff it has to go through when you run it, and like this
Right.
sync run, it takes like 2 minutes to
So
complete.
that means that it just puts everything on every upload, but it doesn't update the only thing that needs updating. Is it?
Yeah, but that's right. Sync does that, but it still goes and checks all those files.
Right. So
Compares them.
So what I'm basically okay, yeah, that's another thing to consider in the future. So if you were to, as in, see it working, how would you do that? As in, I'm really curious now.
Okay. Yeah, and there are ways too in like here we're copying over the client, right? But we could make this specific. I think we could probably make this like only JS files, right? Instead of everything, we could
Yeah.
probably say or only still front end file, and then it'll be
Yeah.
like boop, done.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the other thing too is here, it's whenever you push a change to a specific branch, but you can also use another. You can do push on and then your branches, and then you can write paths, and then paths allow you to add more conditions like only JS. So then this action would only run if you've updated like JS files or a specific file or some other condition. So you can like really, do a lot with these GitHub action templates as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is it running. So, oh no. Oh, my neighbors.
Fading away.
Oh my god. I'm a ghost now.
You look like, actually, you do look like a ghost.
I'm a ghost. Oh, my neighbors killed the power again.
They killed your power.
They killed everybody's power.
What?
Yeah.
So they have everyone's power in their house.
No, they tripped it. They tripped it and they blew the main circuit. Can you talk to a brick for a few minutes? Can you talk to a brick wall?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, let's do that. It will be an interesting experience talking to a brick wall.
I could actually push some changes if you wanted.
Yes. So
I could just manually run this again.
No, maybe push some changes so we can see, as in what does it do, as in a real life example.
Okay. So I forked our Scrumbler because I can't set the secrets in the Scrumbler enhancement GitHub.
Right.
So that's something you need to do. So right now I set it up so that I can push changes from my forked repository, and later on we can just remove that, but I figured I'd leave it for now since maybe you wanted to demonstrate how it works. So if we go to still front end, is there something more dramatic you want to see?
Feel free to do anything. Either way, it will be good to see anything.
Okay, well, we could make something we can remove later.
So Yagdev is saying, can you remove your background?
background.
As in the
I
brick wall.
think you mean, but it's dark. You can't see anything because they killed the lights. I'm just gonna
You wanna maybe try?
stop my camera. It's super dark. It's pitch black. There, you get a,
I like that. I like your profile picture.
I'm hoping they can fix the lights in a second here. So where's like the board? Name your new board. So we can write name your new board chump. All right. So we can edit that. And then what do I have here? Oh, I don't need. What did I edit here? What's this? Oh, just a space. Whatever. Get rid of you.
Go away. Get rid of you now.
Okay, and then in here, added chump. All right. And home dot HTML. Oops. And we can push this up. All right, that's pushed. We'll go back to the GitHub Actions here. Wait, whoa, why did Git fail to execute? What's wrong with you?
Let's have a look why. Where do we go to have a look why? In the terminal?
Well, that's one way. Huh, what is going on?
It's still doing something on the right. Under source control, still doing something.
That's weird. Huh. I think it had a little. What is?
Maybe push it. Oh, here we go. That's done.
Oh, finally.
That process is done.
All right, so this, let's see if there's going to be one that gets kicked off. Oh, there you go. So it got kicked off on that commit. And now it's doing its process.
Doing its build now. Interesting.
So I mean, these parts are fast. This part is slow. This is all because this is checking every file in the client folder. So that takes about
updated or not.
I think so, and then it uploads some, which is interesting. But you can see which ones got changed in S3, right? Because they'll have a new date. Yeah. So when that's done, the next thing after it's done copying, if we look at that right here, it's on this line, right?
GagDev says lol at chump.
Yeah. And then after that, it's going to invalidate the CloudFront cache for our CloudFront distribution.
Yeah.
And then we should pretty much immediately see those changes on our when that's done.
So now what's basically going to happen there, every time we do a change, all we need to do is a commit, that's all.
Exactly. So we don't have to copy over anything. Isn't that nice?
You
Oh,
are
it's
a
already
legend.
there. It's already
Look
there
at
online.
look at that. Name your board, chump. I like that.
So
Oh,
yeah, I
brilliant.
can.
Yeah.
I'll remove it now, and then I'll just put it back the way it was. And
That's actually really fascinating. It's, you do the changes, GitHub does all the magic, and then she just magically appears.
that's what you want, right? You don't have to
Exactly. Yeah.
you don't
Or
have to
you.
write all these commands. No one on your team has to know them. There's less room for
Exactly.
error.
Yeah, and all you just have to do is focus on coding. That's all. Code, push it, code, push it, code, push it.
Yeah, I mean, it took me like, probably because I never used the GitHub Action before, and I'm not super great with AWS, so it probably took me like two or 3 hours to set that up. But now that it's done, I mean, it's way better for the just.
It's a really good investment of time.
I think so. Yeah, you put in a little bit of time up front, and then you save a lot of time and headache later.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, now that you've done it once, you can do it for any project in the future too, right?
Yeah,
Just
and what I'm thinking at the moment, they might be a really good idea for you to blog on this in your spare time.
if I got what spare time.
Exactly. So whenever you've got kind of a bit of free time, yeah, if
Um,
as well.
so so the only thing that needs so I opened a PR for this
Mm-hmm.
on the Scrumbler enhancement.
Okay, I'll have a look at that.
Yeah, and so actually before I leave this, let me open the settings. So this is my forked repo I did just to get this working, and I'm gonna delete it after this. Come on, load.
Who's Chump, by the way?
Who's Chump?
Yeah.
Anyone who lands on home.html is a chump.
He's a chump. Name your board, chump.
Oh man, what is wrong with so weird. Like the last week or two since I've been streaming, I wonder if there's a browser update and it's making things slow, or some other update. But
Are you
yeah,
using Firefox, aren't you?
I use Brave browser.
The Brave browser, just like you. Brave browser for brave people.
It's basically Google Chrome, but better. Okay, yeah, now it's going fast. So this is where that file, that GitHub Actions YAML file goes. So that's,
I see.
and then you can name it whatever you want. I just gave it a bad name, as I usually do. All right, and then the one thing you need to set is and I think you only have access to this. You go to settings, and then you go to secrets, and then you go to actions, and then you put in the repo secrets that are
Ah,
in the YAML file. Like you can see them, like the
right.
S3 bucket name, the role. The only one that's like more that you really need to be more careful of is just this one. The other ones, they don't really matter, like the
I
bucket
see.
stuff. Um,
Right, right.
but yeah, either way, they need
So,
to be set those, or you need to hard code it. I just wouldn't hard code this one.
mhm,
Yeah, and the one thing I ran into too that was I was like, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? It took me 30 minutes to find out. Was um, let's see here. So here's the here's the pull request I opened. All right. Yeah, I was having a problem with the branches, and I'm like, why am I having this huge problem? And
yeah,
then I
yeah, that
realized, then I learned that. So we have a branch called Connect WebSocket, right? That we're currently working on. So
mhm,
say you want to push changes to Connect WebSocket, and then you want it to make those changes to S3,
mhm,
right? And so the one thing I learned is that it's good to set up GitHub Actions from the very beginning, because you need to have GitHub Actions available, like those files, that folder, and the YAML file available on every branch.
right.
So what I had to do is on my forked repo, I had to merge the main branch with the Connect WebSocket branch. I had to merge it. So
Mhm,
that part kind of stinks, or you can maybe figure out another way around it. But yeah, that's one part that I learned that sucked, because um, yeah, either you like copy over the template
yeah,
into every branch, which is probably the easier way than trying to
yeah.
like merge it and do all that stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes sense, but I think that there would be a way to, as in, kind of treat one repo as a kind of parent and the others as a child. Yeah, he's back.
Got the lights.
Finally.
Okay, so yeah, I'm not that good with Git, so I don't know how to put one. Well, yeah, I don't know. I would mess something up, I'm sure.
Nah, man,
That's that's
that's
that.
great stuff. That is
That's
actually
that.
really great stuff, to be honest. Because now all we need to do is, as soon as we push it, it's gonna appear on the website, baby.
I know, that's nice. And as a front end person, I really wanted to see my changes, see if they work on CloudFront too, because you never know. Sometimes when you
Hmm.
like, things don't always work this exactly the same way locally as they do. Oh, we lost it again.
All right, that was brilliant, though. As in, I, I I haven't done this before at
So,
all, so
someone's going to fix the. I'll be right
cool,
back.
cool, cool. Yeah, guys. So this is pretty interesting. I haven't really worked with GitHub Actions before, especially this CI/CD, and that's been a really good learning, to be honest. As in, I got to know how to create it, but obviously, once I start doing it, then I'll understand even better, which would be fantastic. But for now, yeah, th- this has been really enjoyable. I kind of got a brief idea how different pieces of kind of S3 and GitHub and kind of terminal they get put together and then create
All
the
right,
magic.
lights are back. I gotta like, I don't know. Gotta do something about this dog. He loves to bark. um,
Maybe, maybe.
the thing is,
Oh,
like, sometimes unexpectedly people walk in front of the house and then he just goes berserk. And
I see.
I can't predict when somebody might pop in front, and it's so disruptive. I'm sorry.
Can't you like lock the main entrance, or is there no locks in
Oh.
Bali? All right, he's going to do something. Yeah, hopefully we'll be back very soon. In the meanwhile, we can just um check out how beautifully the brick wall is made.
Okay, yeah. There's just like, I think there's people coming to check on the electricity, and he's going crazy about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Can't you?
Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Can't you bring his girlfriend with him? So when they
Am I
both
gone?
are
What
there, that
happened?
they can. Can you hear me? Tori? Your camera's coming, but it's really as in kind of slow, if you know what I mean.
The heck?
Hello? Tori there? Alright, he's facing some technical difficulties. He should be back normal shortly. Yeah, but yeah, it's been a really interesting session, as in, right, so he's gone, is he coming back? And now he's back?
All right, I'm back.
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, so sorry about that. My internet just being bad.
That's alright, no problem at all. Yeah, I was just saying to the viewers that it's been a really interesting and a steep learning curve session tonight, because I haven't really worked with GitHub Actions before.
Me either. So it was like the second or third time I've done anything with it. So it was fun. And I never set up that pipeline before, but I always wanted to. So I thought it was a good opportunity, and I'm glad I beat Thanesh to.
You did it. You did it. You're the man.
You know what
Well
was cool?
done.
You know what was cool, Zane? Was when
Mhm.
I was searching on YouTube for a tutorial while I'm like making lunch. Then I saw Thanesh's video on this topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, GitHub
Ah.
Actions to S3.
Ah. Interesting. So his video kind of inspired you.
Um, yes, but but to be fair to the other resources I used, I kind of like used theirs first, and then I was making a video at the same time, and I found Tanesh's, which was really cool and stuff. But I'm more of a reader, I think. Sometimes,
Ah, right.
probably
Yeah.
more like probably like 60%, 70% of the time. I like to read the instructions or the tutorial rather than watch the video.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. And I guess that there are different people who prefer different things. Because for me, it's more of the videos. As in, I'm more of a watcher than a reader, especially in coding. As in, I learn really quickly when I watch people doing stuff.
Yeah, I totally agree, especially for like the broader concepts. I like watching like when I learned AWS for certifications. I've watched um,
I knew he was gonna have something to say. Oh, work gets done quicker when you watch as well.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, the Tories and nowadays Tories on full speed, and I'm just kind of taking a backseat, watching him and learning.
um, nah, dude, it's not like that. Not at all. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Do you want to call it tonight, or do you want to go to the front end code that I changed?
Ah, that's a
Oh,
really
did you
hard decision you've given me now.
did you see scrumbler.dev
Uh,
or
I haven't yet.
scrumbler.org?
Oh,
Yeah,
the
try
front
it
end, is it?
out. It works now.
Okay, let's try it by
So
sharing
put
the
in
screen.
yeah, share your screen and then go to that and then do slash. Oh, that'll work fine. The WebSocket part, not okay. Just the notes part. I did not touch the WebSockets. Just the
Just the
notes. The
notes.
notes work. The notes work. The notes show up. All right, and you can post. You can save the notes. You can post and patch the notes too, and delete the notes. I fixed all that code on the client side.
All right. I thought that was already working,
It seemed like
wasn't
it
it?
wasn't, or it was commented out or
Okay.
something.
Oh, right. Because we did do it in a way that we implemented the methods one by one and then commented out, tested and commented out. But now I think what you must have done is uncommented them all. Is it?
I just like I just took the like the post and get and the fetch functions that you already created, and I just like wrote some of my own code to just like use them when the page loads, basically. And then I think there was a
All right.
problem with post and patch somewhere. I don't remember what it was, but it was minor. And then delete
Mm-hmm.
wasn't working either for some reason, and I fixed all those. I don't know. I don't know why they were broken then.
All right. Interesting.
Oh, is that not working? Okay, there's a
Um,
problem. I didn't test this actually. Oh, I know why. Well, okay, we'll try this, Zane. Go to
yeah.
slash what did I do? Board, and then query, do question mark, right? Not slash, just question mark. Yeah, and then do board name equal test board. I'll fix the other thing, the create board thing.
Delete me and don't come back.
Well, you gotta whenever you create the cards, they always show up in that same spot because they don't have any persisted data to say, hey, I was in this spot. So that was one thing I noticed.
Ah, interesting.
But now if you delete that one, it shouldn't come back. You refresh the page. You deleted all of them. You're mean.
Why was I not supposed to do this? Hang on.
No, you're fine. So they're all gone.
So how about if I do that again? Board. No. How's it again?
Yeah, I think what happens is when you hit go, it's probably redirecting to another. I just need to update like where it redirects to.
Yeah.
And then we'll fix. I think it's just redirecting you back to the home page, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you create a note and save it, or update a note and save it, they all should work. There is one thing I noticed, which was there's like a debouncer on the save or on the edit or something.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when you save, you think you saved, but because of the debouncer, you have not saved yet.
Oh, so that might be something that we need to look at as well.
Yeah, there's like an easy hacky way around it, but I mean, I didn't want to mess with the script.js file, so I didn't mess with it at all. I just wrote everything in still front end.
Yeah, maybe when we do when we come back, we can basically work on the small bugs.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
but
small bug.
yeah. But yeah, man, well done. It was amazing work. Absolutely loved it, and I'm actually looking forward to your blog so that I can actually when you have
don't
time.
wait too long.
No. As in whenever you have got time, because that can act as my guide to as in learn it as well. In that way.
Just watch Finesh's video. He already did it.
Oh, okay. Cool. I'll do that.
Shout out to Finesh. He already made a video on it. I watched all of it, and it pretty much tells you most of on YouTube. Yeah, on YouTube. If you type in Finesh's full name, you will find him on YouTube. Or if you search for like GitHub Actions deploy S3 or something like that, you should find him somewhere. All right.
Perfect. Right, guys. Do you want to? Okay, you deserve to do the honors today. Yeah, because I did basically nothing. I just watched you.
No, you're good,
you
man.
Did everything.
You do a lot for this show. You do everything for this show. You do everything.
Well, we do everything. I would say, not me. It's we. Right. Cool. So, do you want to do the honors
of closing out the show, or recapping, or
actually recapping everything again?
Oh man! So today we discuss how you can set up GitHub Actions and authenticate that your GitHub repository with AWS and set up a CI/CD pipeline with GitHub Actions to an S3 bucket and CloudFront distribution.
Fantastic, nice and precise. Right, guys, if you want to see how we carry on from here, join us tomorrow, same time, same place, and
A different task.
there we go. All right, guys, catch you guys later.
Thank you. Have a good night. Have a good night, Gekdev.
Have a good